All right, we had 5 guys show up from the Men of Integrity team this morning. We went through one phase. We got either 2 or 3 more today, kind of depends on how they survive the next one. But before we get started, we actually did some wind sprints down on the bottom, and then they jogged from the bottom of the hill up to the top. So we're gonna have worship now, and then we'll carry on. All right, guys, let's go have prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you that we could wake up and come here early in the morning to get a couple workouts in. Please bless us as we study your word and help us apply it into our lives. In your holy name, amen.
Amen. Right, it's ready marked, guys, so yeah, just open up that little orange ribbon. Yep.
After this, Jesus went around in Galilee, proposing staying away from Judea because of the Jews. They were waiting to take his life. But when the Jewish feast of Tabernacles was near, Jesus' brothers said to him, "You ought to leave here and go to Judea, so that your disciples may see your miracles you do. No one who wants to become a public figure acts in secret. Since you do these things, show yourself to the world." For even his own brothers did not believe in him. Therefore Jesus told them, "The right time for me has not yet come. For you, any time is right. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me, because I testify what it does is evil. You go to the feast. I am not yet going up to the feast, because for me the right time has not come." Having said this, he stayed in Galilee. However, after his brothers had left for the feast, he went also not publicly, but in secret. Now at the feast, the Jews were watching him and asking, Where is that man?" Verse 12.
Alright, among the crowds there was widespread whispering about him. Some said he is a good man, others replied, "No, he deceives the people." But no one would say anything publicly about him for the fear of the Jews. Not until halfway through the feast did Jesus go up to the temple courts and began to teach. The Jews were amazed and asked, "How did this man get such learning without having studied?" Jesus answered, "My teaching is not my own, it comes from who sent me. If anyone chooses to do God's will, he will find out whether my teaching comes from God or whether I speak on my own. He who speaks on his own does so to gain honor for himself, but he who works for the honor of the one who sent him is a man of truth. There is nothing false about him. Has not Moses given you the law? Yet not one of you keep the law. Why are you trying to kill me?" "You are demon-possessed," the crowd answered. "Who is trying to kill you?" Jesus said to them, "I did one miracle and you are all astonished. Yet because Moses gave you circumcision, you circumcise a child on the Sabbath. Now if a child can be circumcised on the Sabbath, so that the law of Moses may not be broken, why are you angry with me for healing the whole man on the Sabbath? Stop judging me by mere appearances and make a right judgment."
How much did you read?
Right here, 22.
No, you're good.
24.
25?
Yeah.
At this point, some of the people of Jerusalem became to ask, "Isn't this the man they're talking about to kill? Here he is, speaking publicly, and they're not saying a word to him. Have the authorities really concluded that he is the Christ? But we know where this man is from. When the Christ comes, no one will know where he is from." Then Jesus, still teaching in the temple courts, cried out, "Yes, you know me, and you know where I'm from. I am not here on my own, but he who sent me is true. You do not know him, but I know him because I am from him and he sent me." And at this they tried to seize him, but no one laid hand on him, because his time had not yet come. Still many in the crowd put their faith in him. They said, "When the Christ comes, will he do more miraculous signs than this man?" The Pharisees heard the crowd whispering such things about him. Then the chief priests and the Pharisees sent the temple guards to arrest him. Jesus said, "I am with you for only a short time, and then I will go to the one who sent me. You will look for me, but you will not find me, and where I am, you cannot come."
35. The Jews said to one another, "Where does this man intend to go that we cannot find him? Will he go where our people live scattered among the Greeks and teach the Greeks? What did he mean when he said, "You will look for me, but you will not find me, and where I am, you cannot come"? On the last and greatest day of the feast, Jesus stood and said in a loud voice, "If anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as the scripture says, streams of living water will flow from him." But by this he meant the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were later to receive. But to that time the Spirit had not yet been given, since Jesus had not yet been glorified. On hearing his words, some of the people said, "Surely this man is the prophet." Others said, "He is the Christ." Still others asked, "How can the Christ come from Galilee? Does the scripture say that the Christ will come from David's family and from Bethlehem, the town where David lived?" Thus the people were divided because of Jesus. Some wanted to seize him, but no one laid a hand on him.
Finally, the temple guards went back to the chief priests and Pharisees, who asked them, "Why didn't you bring him in? No one ever spoke the way this man does," the guards declared. "You mean he has deceived you also?" The Pharisees retorted. "Has any of the rulers or of the Pharisees believed in him? No. But this mob that knows nothing of the law, there is a curse on them." Nicodemus, who had gone to Jesus earlier and who was one of their own number, asked, "Does our law condemn anyone without first hearing him to find out what he is doing?" They replied, "Are you from Galilee too? Look into it, and you will find that a prophet does not come out of Galilee." Then each went to his own home.
What did you guys learn, or who wants to share first?
For sure. It pretty much showed that like everybody was kind of like jealous of Jesus, and like everybody was wondering like how does this guy that came out of nowhere, like how does he know so much, more than us? And it just shows that God really did try to help the people, because like they hated the fact that he was healing on the Sabbath, but really it kind of just shows like what we should do on the Sabbath, like we should go out and help people out like Jesus did. That's what I learned from it.
It's just crazy how people like criticized him, but they never said anything to his face. They were just scared, like the Jews.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's like that's also applies to here in the modern day life.